guys, Orly here, founder of LifeVestInside, and I wanted to thank each and every one of you for deciding to kick off your week with me on the weekly Kindness Kickoff with Orly, where I do a reading from my book, Kindness Boomerang, How to Save the World and Yourself Through 365 Daily Acts. And then I give myself, including you guys, an exciting kindness challenge based on the reading from that specific week. Before we get into the reading, I just want to send out my apologies for not sending out the Kindness Kickoff last Monday. Unfortunately, I was really not feeling well, and then I was traveling. I was in New York for about a month doing a bunch of speaking engagements, mainly in schools. It was absolutely spectacular, and now here I am back in Jerusalem. I want to thank you guys again for joining me. You can always catch me Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. It gets posted on our YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook page, all at LifeVestInside. Before we get to the reading, a couple of just reminders for those of you that may not know. LifeVestInside, we have two newsletters that go out. One of them is called The Daily Kind, and it's a daily newsletter that goes out every Monday through Friday with a 30-second read to kickstart your day with kindness. And so every single day has an act of the day, a positive affirmation of the day, an inspirational quote of the day, and a kindness media, something positive that's going on around the world to uplift us and start to see the good that's happening. The other newsletter is called The Kindness Flash, and it goes out once a month, and it focuses on a specific theme of kindness, whether it be generosity or trust or happiness, whatever it may be. And for that specific month, within the newsletter, there's the act of the month and the quote of the month and the picture of the month, the book of the month, a story of the month, articles of the month, and so on and so forth, content that we both create and also curate for you, focused on that specific theme. If you haven't received either one or both of these newsletters, I highly recommend subscribing. It's super simple to do so. All you need to do is go to LifeVestInside.com. And in the top right corner, you're going to see it says sign up. Click on that button, and there you'll have the opportunity to sign up for either one or both of the newsletters. And like I said, of course, there's the weekly show on Mondays, the Kindness Kickoff, as well as our Wednesday show, which is also weekly, called the Kindness Flash with Jason and Orly. What we do on the show is we basically discuss the theme for the month that's within the Kindness Flash. And we discuss various aspects of it. For example, this past month was service. And so we spoke about different forms of service and how we can engage in service, what are some of the hardships, and so on and so forth. So please do check both of those out. I think you guys would really enjoy them. For those of you that want to get further involved with the organization or learn a little bit more, you can definitely learn more at LifeVestInside.com or reach out to me personally. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. It's Orly at LifeVestInside. LifeVestInside itself is a nonprofit, and the mission is to inspire, empower, and educate people from all backgrounds to lead a life of kindness. And the way that we do this is through inspirational media like film, through events, global international events, through educational curriculum, as well as through technology, in addition to our new initiative called Inspiring Kindness, in which we work with law enforcement officials to start catching people engaging in positive actions. But more about that on our website, so definitely check it out. On to the reading for this week. Last week, actually, I'm going to just take a minute to mention last week, 2 weeks ago, because we didn't do one last week. It was speaking about reaching out and giving thanks to a teacher. I had the opportunity myself over the course of that week. A student of mine, as I mentioned in that episode, reached out to me to just share with me the fact that the impact that I had on her, and also let me know that she's getting married, which was so exciting. We went out for a dinner, and it was so unbelievable to connect with a former student. And I asked everybody, all of our challenge, including myself, was to reach out to a former teacher and to engage. And what I wanted to bring up here, I was speaking with a friend of mine that watches the Kindness Kickoff, and she said to me, she said, Orly, I really loved your show that week with the teachers. I said, well, did you go out? Did you call a teacher that meant a lot to you and tell them? And she said, to be honest, I didn't. I said, well, why not? She said, the truth is, actually, when I watched the show, I started thinking back, and there was one teacher that really stood out the most, but I didn't reach out. I said, why don't you reach out? He goes, I don't know. It's been a long time. I said, you have to understand the impact that it's going to make on this person's life. And she went in and she started talking to me about what this teacher did for her. And he was really a coach of one of the teams that she was on. And hearing her speak about it, it was like I saw all the emotions of what this teacher instilled within her come right back to her. She had this excitement as she was telling the story. I said, this is amazing. You don't think that this teacher would want to know that when you heard something about thinking back on a teacher that inspired you, you thought of him? How could you not reach out? Find the number, find a way, and get in touch. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I know we do the kindness kickoff, each week, and we talk about a specific act. But sometimes we can have these fears around actually engaging in doing that act, whatever it may be. Whether we think, well, it's not going to really make a difference, I don't really know how to do it. Guys, we know the truth. The truth of the matter is, if we want to really do something and we're committed to it, we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. The reason I'm saying this is because, yes, kindness is very big, it's very broad, but when we choose small things, just like within the book, okay, it has for every day there's an act, a quote, and a reflection. If we take it one day at a time and start increasing our awareness, because just the fact that she even thought about that teacher, that's already one step. The next step is taking action. It's moving from inspiration to action that's sometimes the most difficult. Being inspired, okay, people can inspire you, great. But if you're not going to take that energy and that momentum when you're feeling inspired and turn it into some sort of action, and guys, I'm not talking about some crazy big action, tiny, then the energy, that inspiration that you got is going to be in vain. It's going to go to waste. So what I'm going to ask us to do this week, first of all, number one, if you didn't accomplish that specific goal, or you didn't have the courage enough to reach out, or you're like, this teacher's not going to remember me, what am I going to take the time out of his busy day and call him? I promise you it'll make a difference. Maybe try and take the time over the course of this week. Now that you've thought about it, maybe you're actually now going to be able to take that next step. So I challenge you all to do that. And there's a reason why I'm mentioning this, and it's really to do with this week's action that we're going to be reading. It's going to come from December 31st. And I chose it not just because it's the last day of the year, but I thought that it really connects very much with what we're coming into, which is the new year, which brings new beginnings. But to bring new beginnings, sometimes we need to tie loose ends on things that we sort of left open, on areas in our life that may be a little bit painful. So this comes to you from December 31st. For those of you that may not have a copy, by the way, of Kindness Boomerang, you can get your copy super simply. You can get it on our website at LifeVestInside.com. It's such a fantastic book to give, especially now that it's the New Year's. This is an amazing gift to give to somebody because it's for every single day of the year, and they could start from January 1st and read along with us. Great gift for yourself, great gift for a friend, for a teacher, for anyone. So definitely check it out, either on our website or on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, IndieBound, iTunes, and all proceeds from the book go directly to LifeVestInside. So not only are you getting something really fantastic in your hand, but on top of that, you're also helping an amazing organization continue to spread its message. So be sure to check that out. So this reading is coming from December 31st. And the act is as follows. It says, in a fight, had a disagreement, time to make things right and bring clarity before starting the new year. Sometimes, especially when it comes to the new year, we think about all these resolutions, right? What are we gonna do in the new year? How is this new year gonna be different for us? What do we want it to symbolize for us? It's very important also to write down those things. Write down the things you actually want to accomplish and make them small goals, because when you write it down, you have the ability to then look back on it, not just a year later, the next New Year's, but you have an opportunity to look back on it time and time again to remind you of what you want to be important. But very often when we talk about resolution this time of New Year, we also look back, we reflect back. Maybe there is someone in your past that you had a disagreement with over the course of this year. Maybe it wasn't even this year. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Maybe it was 10 years ago. Maybe it was 15 years ago. Whatever it may be. And it's so crazy because, again, with the same friend, I was talking and I brought up, we were just having conversation, and I started telling her about an experience that I had in my life that was very painful with a person that really I felt very, very hurt by. And it was for that reason that I decided to choose December 31st, because I said, you know what? If I was just speaking about it, there has to be a reason. It's not easy to swallow our pride, especially if we think that we were right in this fight or this disagreement. Disagreement comes because of a lack of one thing: dialogue. That's it. It's as simple as that. Having a dialogue with somebody, just conversing with them, hearing, listening to their side, and giving them the opportunity then to also hear you out. It's really about expressing something that you're feeling. A person didn't have to do something wrong for you to feel bad. It's how you perceive what they did that makes you feel bad. But sometimes when we come to trying to settle a disagreement or a dispute, we come at it from, hey, I'm not wrong. This is what you did, and this is what you did, and that's what you did. And we come attacking, or we come defending. I didn't do this, and I didn't do that. Sometimes all we need to do is just start with a simple line. Look, very simple. Look, I know that you were hurt by what I did. I know that what I did hurt you. It was never my intention. My intention was never to hurt you. But I understand that the action that I did or what I said, whatever, hurt you. Right there already, you're trying to understand. You're explaining to a person that there's a difference between what the person, there's their person's perception, and there's your intention. My intention was never to hurt you. I care about you. I love you. I only want the best for you. Because sometimes disagreements, some of the biggest disagreements that span over years, you know who they're between? They're not between strangers or somebody you met once and it was an acquaintance. They're generally between people that are family, people that are that have reason to be close to each other. Long time friends that then got into this argument about something or whatever, and suddenly all the good suddenly fades away, and you forget all the good that happened, and all you start seeing in front of your face is this negativity. So it's crazy, and a lot of the reason is because, again, we take things personally. It hurts us. Of course, we're hurt. But the minute that we can open up to somebody and tell them, and be able to express, it would never be my intention to hurt you. But I understand that what I did, you perceived it, the way you took it, it was painful. Doing something, and again, it doesn't work in every single scenario right now, and I can't go into every single scenario, but I'd love to be able to do that because there's a lot to be spoken about conflict resolution, because that's really what it is, whether it be with a family member, whether it be in business, or whatever it may be. But this is a really great time. We're approaching a time when we're thinking about the forward, the future. But in order to do that, we have to clear up and make space for the good that we're looking to bring into our life. And sometimes the pain and the disagreements and the hardships that we've had with people take up that space. It doesn't have to be a physical space. It takes up a space in our heart. It takes up a space in our mind. And sometimes it's so subconscious, we don't even realize it. But it prevents us from moving forward in our lives and allowing good things to come in. Now is the time to be able to do that. This is not an easy task that I'm giving us all this week. It's not. But if maybe it even makes you think about that person and makes you contemplate it, and maybe then the following, maybe you'll take a step towards it, to me, that's already huge. The quote is as follows, and I love it because it's Winnie the Pooh. And it says, "You can't always sit in your corner of the forest and wait for people to come to you. You have to go to them sometimes." That's beautiful. You can't sit in your corner of the forest and wait for people. Sometimes you have to go to them. To do this requires somebody to overcome a trait that can be very, very negative, and that's pride. I don't mean pride in the positive sense, but if we have too much pride, too much in actually being able to go up to somebody, to approach them, to try and resolve, what are we doing? What does that say about us? We're all human beings, and we all make mistakes. We all have things that we're great at. We all have things that we're not so great at. At the end of the day, it's about these connections. It's how you want to be remembered. The small fight or the small thing, and sometimes years can pass, and a person doesn't even remember where this hatred came from, because it bruises. It's little by little. But sometimes you have to go out of your way. You have to step out of your comfort zone in order to create that connection that will then happen. Because you have to open the door for someone. If it's hard for them, open it for them, because sometimes it's going to be hard for you, and you're going to want that other person to open it for you. So what we want in our lives, we also need to be able to give forward to other people in theirs. And the reflection, disagreements are rooted in misunderstanding and lack of communication. When the rage begins to set in, there are two choices: react, or take a moment to process it all so that the next step you take will be one that leads you to a place of clarity. There are over 7 billion people in the world, each with their own way of perceiving the world and the people around them. Disagreements are inevitable, but how we choose to react is exactly that, a choice. Confrontation forces us to become vulnerable and let our guard down. Make the resolve to do it, and do it with mindful sensitivity. You're bound to feel a huge weight lifted and a friendship saved. What better way to end the year than with peace of mind, heart, and soul? So like I said, not an easy one that we've chosen here to focus on. Clearing up a disagreement, but definitely one that is very worthwhile. Recognizing that everything in life is a choice. And again, realizing that the way you perceive something is going to be different than the way that somebody else perceives something. It just is. We're not intended to try and make the other person think we're right and they're wrong. That's not what dialogue is. So many people confuse dialogue. Dialogue doesn't mean, well, I'm going to let that person finish speaking so that I can then take all the thoughts that I've been thinking while they're speaking and then throw it at them to show them the way they're thinking is wrong. Dialogue is actually listening, actually taking it in, and then being able to take that and also share yours and having that person also listen. And sometimes come to the conclusion that, you'll agree to disagree. We're not going to all agree on everything. We're not meant to be that way. We're all different. We look different. We act different. We think different. But let's try and resolve to tie up at least a little bit of a loose end, even if it's a small step that we take. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me for the Kindness Kickoff with Orly every Monday. Again, don't forget to get your copy of Kindness Boomerang. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. I love those of you that send me pictures of you with the book and send me your thoughts about the book. I cannot tell you what it means to me. Don't forget to also subscribe to LifeVestInside at LifeVestInside. We love seeing our subscriber base grow and more people being inspired. I want to take one moment on a personal note here. And I apologize, I know that this is a little bit longer than our past Kindness Kickoffs. But with the end of the closing of this book, again, the book never ends, because next week we're going to pick up another chapter and go back to the beginning of January again. This book was written in memory of my grandfather, Albert Nakab. I love him very, very much, and he was a symbol very much of kindness, but he was so quiet in his own way. He did kindness without it being like something he posted all over the walls. But he was a very, very special person to me. And this book was written in his memory. He passed away 4 years ago. And it was a very big part of writing this was knowing that I was doing this in his memory, pushing me to do so. So I just wanted to take that moment to honor my grandfather, Albert Nakab, for everything that he did, for everything that he was, and for everything that he believed, and for instilling that in me, and for believing in me, and pushing me, even though we had our disagreements. Oh boy, we did. But at the end of the day, I knew how much he loved me, and he knew how much I loved him. So I just want to honor him by saying that to all of you. Thank you guys again once more, and I hope you have an amazing, amazing week, an amazing New Year's, an amazing holiday season. Love you from the bottom of my heart. And remember, it's kindness that keeps the world afloat. Mwah.